Hey, what up, everybody? Another live tonight, this afternoon, I mean, per se. Hopefully, y'all enjoy this one. Going to be talking about the Black Knight tonight. Once again, this afternoon, this evening. I guess I'm not used to going live at this time, but nevertheless, we had to do it a little earlier just because of scheduling reasons. Me and Sunrise Hoodie, but just waiting on him to get on board since he'll be going live from a different device than me. But yeah, I think it's going to be another doozy for y'all, most definitely. But overall, just given some of the things I wanted to go over with this particular live, for the longest in these spaces, there was this idea of the white knight. You know, we've talked about the white knight for many years, most definitely. One second, y'all. All right, yeah, my bad. Just waiting on Sunrise Hoodie to show up here. He'll be here in a few minutes, so just give me a little bit. But if y'all got any questions about this idea of the Black Knight, feel free to hit me up in this chat section here, and I can kind of give you a an overview, just a quick brief per se. So meanwhile, while y'all probably come up with a few questions if need be, I'm just chilling, waiting on Sunrise Hoodie. But we gonna start off pretty good. I'll be ready to roll with a lot of these lives. But I think y'all gonna like what I have to say. Let me make sure I can check y'all in different areas here. Let me see something. Trying to get on another screen. No, that's not the screen I wanted. You know how it goes with all this technology and all that. You gotta love it. Okay, here we go. Boom. Currently live right now. uh okay, what you say, Brown Do Life? Is the Black Knight critical of women? That's a good question, fam. I'll highlight that. The Black Knight is not necessarily critical of women. It's the total opposite of the White Knight. Uh, I would say it's more of a criticizing aspect of the Black Knight, but not like critical of women as far as I guess depending on your take on critical. Um, from the Black Knight's perspective, he's like I said, he's more on the criticizing aspect of things, but not like the White Knight side of things as far as trying to save her and things like that. Nothing like that at all. One second, y'all. All right, I'm back, y'all. But hopefully that kind of answered some of your question there, Brown Do Life, in regards to the Black Knight. But we're definitely going to go in because I've been believing that this idea of the Black Knight is going to appear more and more as time goes on, just given today's climate. Of course, back in the days, this whole idea of the White Knight showed up. And I believe it was due to like the sexual revolution and things like that, to where like female validation was starting to be at an all-time high. And then, of course, you fast forward to now with the Me Too movement. And so I think at this point, it's safe to say that the White Knight has reached his peak. Hey, what's good, McTow in the wind? Good to see you back again, fam. Yeah, I'm finna doctor this up, definitely. We're gonna dissect this like a frog tonight, man. We're gonna dissect these knights like they're frogs. Yeah. But yeah, me and Sunrise Hoodie, really kind of my whole idea of having Sunrise Hoodie on board tonight with this particular live was because I know that Sunrise Hoodie, he'll have that pure MGTOW perspective to the whole knighting situation, because a lot of MGTOW, as far as its early genesis, was based on the stance of not being like a white knight. Of course, you know, from the MGTOW sector, they took that a step further. Some just said, well, forget the knight. Since I don't want to be like the white knight, we're just going to be monks. So that's kind of the whole, I believe the epicenter of MGTOW is, you know, the whole monk aspect. So why would a monk want to go back to being a knight? That's the question of the day. Maybe somebody has an answer. Maybe maybe just, I don't know, a question. You know, sometimes you have to answer a question with a question. Who knows? Let me see what MGTOW in the wind said. We now got to worry about Batman now. No, 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 no. That's the thing, MGTOW in the wind. Batman is called the Dark Knight. See, Batman is called the Dark Knight. The Black Knight is totally different than the Dark Knight. But you know what? There could be some similarities between the Dark Knight and the Black Knight, because you know the Dark Knight per se, Batman, was still vilified, even though he tried to do some good. So in some ways, the Black Knight can be treated similar, but in essence, the Black Knight is different because the Black Knight does not care about any validation. It's not about him merely trying to do any good. It's just more or less uh, that good, the good that comes from one being around him, if that makes sense. Yeah, it definitely not about validation. Because I know, you know, Batman, he valued himself upon trying to help out and to intervene upon a lot of the evildoers in the world of Gotham City. Check this out. Hold up, y'all, 1 second. Okay. Just got another update from Sunrise Hoodie. He just got home, so he'll be jumping on here in a couple of minutes. So yeah, it's gonna be on and popping. I got this message from him at 5:06 p.m. CST. It's now 5:07. So I say about 5:08, 5:09-ish. Yes, I'm talking like I'm in military. I'm precise with the time because I want to give y'all some precise content. You know what I'm saying? Got to give y'all some precise content. So we finna really pop off. It's gonna be a good one. Like I said, get your popcorn, get your drinks, uh, whatever. You know, we finna chop it up, all the fellas. And I would say maybe some ladies. You know, there's gonna always be some ladies in the building. Shout out to the ladies that show up, even those listening to this on a replay. Maybe this is something y'all can learn from too as well. So just like what Brown Do Life said, you know, we gonna learn some. We not just being entertained. You know what I'm saying? Okay, now what Brown Do Life said down here. Yeah, social engineering right there. Validation of women in direct game and indirect game of getting women for a long, long time. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing with the white knight. You know, basically, the white knight is her cheat code. The fact that she knows she's going to always have someone cater to her and seek validation from her, that's her cheat code. She wins every time by default. But, however, things have started to change. And not just due to guys that have chose to go their own way. But now there is definitely a true nemesis that can encounter both the white knight and the modern Western female. Because, of course, someone that's MGTOW could care less about those things. They don't care about all that. But there is some need of some challenge to the modern Western establishment. In essence, just as the white knight is the bridge to the gynocracy, the black knight is the bridge to all those who choose to go their own way. So look at it that way, y'all. Let me see something. Yeah, yeah. 1707. Yeah. That's right. That's right. MGTOW in the wind. That military time. Yeah, that's true. You're right about that. Being accurate. I guess I was just talking more of the precision part, but yes, you're right on that military time. 1707. Right now it's 1709. Let's see what's good. Let's see what's good. Let me check back with Sunrise Hoodie, see if he jumped in right quick, y'all. Okay, not yet, but we're gonna keep getting notifications. He's just getting in the door. So okay, he's on. Hold up, y'all. Let me get him in, give him a quick debrief, and I'll be back with y'all. Give me just like 2 minutes, okay, y'all? One moment. All right, everybody, we back up in the building. Sunrise Hoodie has arrived with the hoodie on.
Yes.
Yeah, so we hope everybody been doing good out there and everybody been blessed, and we're gonna be a blessing to y'all tonight. So just without me even going forth with talking and telling you kind of my perspective on it, have you ever even thought of maybe there was an opposite to the white knight that is existing or one day could exist?
Yeah, I mean, the White Knight as itself, we all know who the White Knight is. The White Knight's the guy that comes in and saves the damsel in distress all the time and swoops in at the party, and you're the outsider looking on, rolling your eyes because you know what that guy's doing. He's trying to win her over by, simping around, basically. But the Black Knight, I mean, it's hard to say if there's like a direct contrast to the White Knight, but I would think the Black Knight or the Dark Knight would be just kind of a guy that's standoffish, but he's standoffish because he's doing his own thing, and he's taking care of what he knows won't get him in trouble. Because often when you're a white knight, you actually put yourself in more harm's way. It's just different alpha qualities is how I would see it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And that's why I've been trying to emphasize that, like, yeah, the Black Knight is not the Dark Knight. So yeah, it's not Batman,
Yeah.
but it's definitely some truth to it though, because you would think, I think in my opinion, because I see, of course, because I just explained this to the audience earlier. Um, the White Knight, as I believe you would agree with, is kind of like the bridge to the gynocracy and the plantation.
Mm-hmm.
And whereas the Black Knight should be more or less the bridge towards the last frontier of masculinity, MGTOW and Red Pill, just basically guys going away from the gynocracy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point too. I think the White Knight, I've never really heard it described as being a bridge to the gynocracy, but it's the man walking the bridge, I think, to living a gynocratic life. Because if he's white knighting himself, he's basically saying he's putting her on a pedestal, and what is that doing? That's making it a gynocratic existence.
Facts. Facts.
So that's I mean, it's a good comparison. I didn't really think about it that way. I've always just seen it as kind of a simp. Like a white knight is almost another term for a simp, and the Black Knight would be a guy that, if you're looking at it purely in relationships with women, he would be the alpha because of he is on his path and his purpose. And a lot of times that's even how it's viewed in those situations. If he's on his path and his purpose, he's not there to rescue her. He's going to be viewed as a shadowy kind of dark figure in the moment. But the ironic thing is that she always is going to turn on a white knight in the end.
That's so true, man. And the thing that I've been thinking about with this, as far as in regards to the aspect of everything that embodies the Black Knight more so, is he just has like this totally unique character that I feel that, just given the way society is going, you're going to see, like, just imagine like a scorched earth, like given, like, just putting our minds back in a medieval type of setting per se. And you imagine this scorched earth, and amongst the burning rubble, there's this knight that appears. And he notices many damsels in distress, some more mutilated than others, towns that have been burnt down. But then, out of the blue, another knight shows up. So this first knight that shows up obviously is and I guess it doesn't matter which knight shows up in this situation, but let's just say the Black Knight shows up and he sees everything. And then of course the White Knight shows up, he sees everything. So it gives you an idea of how each one would assess that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. I think in that situation, the Black Knight is going to be preoccupied with being as logical and efficient as possible. So doing what's needed for survival of himself and the people around him. And so while he's not giving the attention to the damsel in distress, that's where the perspective of the white knight might be in that situation, trying to first benefit and protect her. They're going to view the black knight as somebody that's not helping them, that's not protecting them. But in the end, the black knight offers the leadership, and the black knight actually offers solutions to make things happen and to, get people out of whatever that scorched earth situation is.
Facts. And I kind of feel that the Black Knight definitely represents like an arm or a leg of the MGTOW sector. Not to say that it actually exists, and I'm someone that's technically a Black Knight, hint, hint. But I believe that there shall be more, in essence, kind of like the White Knight protects the gynocracy. In some ways, the Black Knight protects all those guys that want to be away from the gynocracy. Like he kind of, in some ways, he looks out for those that want to continue to go their own way. I think that would be another assessment of that too.
Yeah, I think he's also the guy that the White Knight will aspire to be like, and the White Knight actually wants to be. And it's always said that your doppelganger is your enemy. I think in this situation, the White Knight is looking at the Black Knight and is probably feeling convicted. This is how I should be acting. This is how I should be, but I'm not that. Why am I not that? And it's, they have different intentions, but I think the White Knight aspires to be as the Black Knight is. I've always seen it as, I reference Lord of the Rings all the time, but Aragorn in the first movie, he's just sitting there alone in the bar, kind of a Han Solo like figure in a sense, and he's doing his own thing. He ends up being the solution to the situation that the hobbits were in at the time, even though he didn't come across as being this White Knight figure like a savior or a rescuer.
Yeah,
he just had the solutions.
True. And it's funny that technology hasn't advanced to the point of where we could have had like in the background this battlefield and rain pouring down, maybe a dreary day, or the sun trying to crack in the gray clouds with lightning striking around us. It's like this would be like a dope epic way of kind of looking at kind of like this scenario, man. But my thing is, I guess, kind of like you just said, like with the White Knight, and I had mentioned that even before this live started. I was like, some people would compare the White. I said to myself, the White Knight is like the ultimate simp. Not to say like the White Knight is actually a simp, but the White Knight is actually the ultimate simp. Like the most ultimate thing you think a simp can do, that represents the White Knight.
You're probably right, because he's going out there and he's trying to fight a dragon. He's not only just simping on the most domestic level, the most protected level. He is at a life or death level.
Yes,
he is literally putting himself to be killed as a martyr, for a sense, for somebody that might not even know he exists, because there are probably multiple White Knights trying to obtain the attention of that same woman.
Oh, that's deep. The part that you said, they don't even know he even exists, or they don't, or you could even say they don't acknowledge him. I mean, how many civil unrests have happened over these years, and a lot of the guys that go after the damsels in distress were never acknowledged. In some ways, they were arrested or they ended up killed themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a romantic thing in a lot of guys' hearts they don't really step back and look at and realize that the way they're acting is fueled out of, I think kind of the innate essence of a man to serve and to protect, but a lot of times it's to serve and protect the wrong thing.
Right.
And somebody that doesn't even, have any investment into you. And that's the thing that a lot of guys go into battle and they don't even realize that they're fighting for. A lot of guys in high school, they join a football team. They're not even really joining a football team for themselves. They're hoping I can be the quarterback so I can be, her attention. And she's really not paying any mind. She's not in the battlefield with that guy.
Right.
They don't know what's happening.
See? And I think, like, of course, in that case with the White Knight, he's obviously trying to act like the vigilante, but he'll end up a villain. And all along, he's been looking for validation. But I think with the Black Knight, he's not trying to be a vigilante. He doesn't care if someone tries to make him out to be a villain, because he really wasn't trying to be a vigilante, and he wasn't seeking validation. So if there was any other V word I could think of, and maybe you might beg to differ on this, but maybe the Black Knight has a vision. But maybe you might say maybe he doesn't have a vision. Maybe not.
That's a good question, man. I mean, that's one thing that I've actually probably thought of before and I've struggled with, because I think that part of what makes the Black Knight so effective is that he is disconnected from whether or not his vision succeeds. So maybe he doesn't even have a vision, and that's what's freeing him up to act freely and to act efficiently and to act effectively, because he's not attached to a result. So maybe he doesn't have a vision. But I think the other train of thought is the reason for his purpose and the reason for his acting is because he has a vision, you know? And so that's the thing. It's like, you look at guys, and I think a part of every man kind of wants to be a vigilante in some ways, you know? Yeah. I think there's like a percentage of it varies for everybody, but we all kind of romanticize that idea. And, you know, we look at a vigilante and we're like, I mean, it just seems like he's just acting erratically. Does he even have a vision? But then you sit back and you think, well, maybe that vision, you know, the vision is he doesn't have a vision, you know? So it's just like, it's hard to know, right? It's really hard to know.
Yeah. He's definitely almost similar to MGTOW in that regard, because it's like, you know, you would think even in medieval days, someone conceptually speaking as a Black Knight perspective, he comes from no kingdom. He's probably one of the most skilled soldiers that probably fled his maybe gynocentric kingdom at that time. But it's like, with that said, like with the White Knight, he's far removed from this notion, but at the same time, I believe you're probably right, as far as if he came to the presence of a Black Knight, he would definitely aspire to, like, he would want to be like him. And maybe that's something we could talk about towards like the latter part of this live, for sure. But I was going to say, and there's a few other realms of thought to think about with the Black Knight. I would say, just in the spaces we're in, like the Black Knight is more red pill, and the White Knight is definitely blue pill. And go ahead.
No, yeah, I mean, I think that's the crux of it, is that the Black Knight, like you said, he might be, you know, fleeing another society, he might be fleeing another kingdom, he might be fleeing another realm, because he was fleeing it because he wasn't accepted for the truth that he was acting out on. And I think a lot of times a Black Knight ends up being a Black Knight because he, in this case, does have a vision. He does stand for something, and he's not willing to put up with whatever's going to make him accepted. And so as a result, there's really no place for him to call his home, and he ends up being that renegade. And such is the case for the modern man. A modern man that is a red pill man, there really isn't many safe and accepted zones for him to exist in, and to talk to, you know, to find other men to be accepted and, you know, accepted by. So it's kind of similar in that way. And the White Knight, what he does is he sacrifices being exiled for the sake of comfort. And what man is not respected is a man that sacrifices what he stands for comfort at the end of the day.
That's facts. And I was thinking, even kind of going back to some of our earlier talking points, there could be a possibility that Black Knight could be black pilled if he wanted to be. So there could be two types of Black Knights that exist. I would say, because within those same smoldering, like if it was still that same scorched earth, and where he sees these same damsels in distress, that same Black Knight, if he was black pilled, could say, I need to put them out their misery, because their misery will not have my company, you know. But I would say, like, however, with the Black Knight being more red pill, he might have in mind there probably might be some damsels that aren't as hostile, but I will still have to be cautious. Therefore, that's why I got like a nice sword and I got a nice shield. You know, I got just in case I'm gonna have to chop her down if I find out she's more of a demon than a damsel.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, right? It's the strongest man is the man that has power to destroy, but knows how to wield it and knows when not to use it.
Yes,
I think that in itself is almost this Black Knight model too.
facts.
The Black Knight is going to be a guy I think that's going to be feared. You know, a White Knight is not feared.
No.
You know, and it's good fear, and it's not necessarily that the Black Knight cares that he's feared. It's just they know he acts with conviction and he acts in his own thought, and that is a very scary thing to a lot of people.
Yes, and you think it because I was going to go into the detail of their armor, but I would say just lightly touching on what the White Knight's possible armor is like. He's only as good as what he's been provided by the gynocracy. So he might have.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, he might have a decent set of armor, but it's only going to give him as far as, you know, however way they provided him, whatever they got him. You know, it's deep, man, when you really think about it, because you see this in society, literally.
You see it in so many different ways. I mean, he's only getting what the gynocracy is giving him, so therefore, he's not really finding himself any type of independence from what is in the mainstream. You know, every path, every step that he has in life is created by circumstance that he's just living in. It's not an organic, you know, there's no pioneering in there. There's no trailblazing. There's no entrepreneurial mindset. There's no creating for himself. There's no freedom because of those things. There's only attachment to what he knows he's going to get, because he's afraid that, you know, if I try to get something that's my own and I'm free because of that, I'm putting myself at risk. Because let's be honest, anytime that you try to go outside of that path of comfort and of what's provided to you, you put yourself in the way of being harmed.
Exactly. I mean, and in so many words, it's kind of like you think when I see the White Knight, and you look at them, you look at him as opposed to the Black Knight. To be honest, I don't even think the White Knight is even much of a warrior, more so than just a security, or as they would say back in those days, more of a sentinel. He's not even a warrior for real, you know, because
yeah, he's just kind of a guard. He's just standing there. He's standing guard of whatever's around. He's not really looking to gain anything more. He's just protecting what already exists.
Man, and it's like that's literally what's going on right now. That's what people don't understand. So without the armor, visible armor, this is going on. So it's like it makes you ask the question: is not today's society theoretically a scorched earth?
Yeah, I think for a lot of men it is, and I think it's more of a scorched earth for men that again are reliant on the narrative that the White Knight's going to be reliant on. You know, he has not carved anything else out for him that he knows is his. In a way, he hasn't prepped for doomsday. You know, he has what everybody else has, and he doesn't have anything extra. And so, in that reality, it is a scorched earth for him, because there's no room for growth. There's nothing in the coffers that is stored away. And the Black Knight is making himself useful and independent of the mainstream, and so therefore he can handle the scorched earth situation, and he doesn't have to live in that same reality that most of the people are.
Facts. And I had wrote this down. Maybe it was like a misprint, because now just really starting to let these ideas kind of be more so just more cultivating, you know, as these ideas cultivate more. I realized earlier, I had typed down this idea the beauty of her leaving. But actually, in this case of the Black Knight, it's not really the beauty of her leaving. It's the beauty of leaving her behind, that damsel.
Yeah, it's not really something that a lot of men get to realize, that there's beauty in it.
Yeah.
And you know, there's a new reality that you live in, and a lot of things become more beautiful because you're not distracted by the beauty that you were investing all of your attention to. You know, everything else has a new color.
Facts. And it's like even based on that color, it's like it goes back to, because this brings up another point that I'm gonna probably bring up a little later on, but it's like you're here amongst these glowing cinders and demolished buildings, and you have a knight who barely has half the strength I do. And I'm trying to show you how you can get out of this. But if you don't like the way I'm trying to show you things, I'm gonna have to leave you here, you know. And it's like going back to the whole demon thing I said earlier. It's like I'm gonna have to keep watching you to make sure that, yo. So I think that's probably some of the downfalls to being a Black Knight. There could be some hidden dangers there, but I think the Black Knight, and I hope I didn't just say white, but
no, you're good.
But I think that's what that could be one error, and I think that's probably the main error for the Black Knight, is knowing that if he does try to look out for people amongst those demolished castles and buildings, are some of them damsels or some of them demons, you know. And that's like I said, he's more than capable, and I'll explain the details of his armor here very shortly as to why I think he's more than capable to deal with that. But but the thing, I guess, because I go back to that to your video that you did about McCall and her, basically all of her antipathy and and her greed and her insecurities, and maybe a lot of things of her not liking the idea of less is more, and how she just didn't trust one's faithfulness towards her. That all could be part of that demon aspect of the Black Knight trying to actually assist the damsel if she tries to appear to be one in need, you know. But it's like, just as quick as she tried to act like she's a damsel and then she turns to a demon, well, he has a sword for that really quick.
Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, going back to that story too, David probably he put himself in some bad situations, you know, with women, but in that situation was one of the ones that was pretty telling of the heart of a woman. That's, in that case, she's probably not faithful. She's probably insecure. She's upset that he's dancing for God, and she's just, you know, thinking that he's dancing for the attention of other people. So her mind is on the things of man. And so whenever that happens, you know, she's going to be envious. She's going to be jealous, and she's just jealous of his joy, you know. And there's a lot of guys have been in that situation, and that's a real world situation. You know, that's a real life situation that a lot of guys have been in, where there's this animosity for the joy that you have, and there's this lack of faith that, you know, this guy can go out in the street, he can be dancing, and he's doing it for himself. He's not doing it for the attention of other people. And so in that case, she does become a demon. That's, you know,
yep, that's it.
He's let a demon in close, and now he's got to deal with it.
Yeah, that's it. I think what I like when I do look at a lot of medieval movies and things, and you see them fighting damsels that turn into demons, she doesn't quite fully either she doesn't fully transform into a demon and he's able to slay her, or she charges at him but he just makes a quick swipe like instantly, or his shield does the number to protect him, like the most experienced knights that can slay the damsels that turn into demons. It's like they knew what was coming before it came their way, you know, in many ways. You know.
Yeah, to me, it reminds me of uh, I'm trying to remember if it was part of the Odyssey, or I know it's just in Greek mythology, but killing of Medusa.
Yeah.
I believe that Perseus just didn't even. So he used a reflection to kill her. In a lot of ways, it was kind of a defensive tactic. Like you said, he used what he was up against her. She was trying to assault him, and he used something that was it was not it's not a tank, it's not a nuke, it's not a bomb. He uses a mirror. He uses something slightly just slight like that to defend himself against her. And a lot what it boils down to is sometimes you just need wisdom and you need discretion. You need those. That's the other characteristic of a Black Knight, is that he has not only refined himself physically and refined his skills physically, he's refined his intellect, and he's refined his discernment, and he knows how to use the upper ground when he can.
Right. Now, this is before I go off into the next point, my thing is, would you possibly speculate that maybe in the times to come or things like that, maybe the Black Knight sometimes has to go up into the mountain to speak to the monk, the MGTOW monks per se. They sometimes the knights have to find the monks for wisdom they may not have at that time. And maybe that can help him in that situation. Maybe one day he would desire to be more of a monk himself as he gets older and things like that. I mean,
yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of Star Wars a little bit. Luke Skywalker. I mean, he is the current Jedi. He is, I guess, in this situation, he would be, in this metaphor, he would be the Black Knight. He would be the guy that is in the field fighting, and he is in harm's way. And when he needs something extra, when he knows he's going to go up against Vader, when he knows he's got to take down the Death Star, he has to retreat back to where wisdom is, where guidance is going to benefit him while he does have time for the quiet. So what does he do? He goes to Dagobah and he talks to Yoda. And Yoda's there to teach him and to be kind of that monk, the one that's cut off from the battles of the current day. And he's going to learn and glean from him. So I think there's always a time for that. And I think that's why, especially in MGTOW, there are MGTOW monks. Not that they're necessarily older all the time or wiser, but there is a way of living your life that resonates with men that causes them to be a MGTOW monk. There's others that want to be Black Knight, I guess, in the sense they're in the field.
Right. That's it. That's major right there. That's major. That is straight up major. Yes, sir. But I think, of course, I guess based on rule of thumb, beg to defer if need be, but knights don't have queens. Therefore, the white knight is somebody always trying to praise a female as queen, just putting them on pedestals. But the Black Knight has no desire of such. He simply wants a useful woman and one that just wants to be around. Hold up. He simply wants a useful woman and not one that just wants to be around for the emotional side of things. So I guess to make sense of all this, in that same scorched earth battlefield per se, we're trying to get out of this. There's no time to be like too tied up in all your feelings. If you want to survive, you got to be useful. I might need you to help set up shop, a tent. I have some, I got to go knock down trees with my sword or my axe. You got to, I'm trying to, make things hospitable for you and for whoever's left in your village, and just those simple things. If we translated that into a lot of these modern relationships per se, there probably wouldn't even be a such thing as a dating market at all.
Exactly. The modern safety has created the dating market, and it's created this dating to, not to get too far off topic, but it's created it as a hobby. It's like when you're out there and it's, you are in the middle of a cross country inter country war, and there's famine, and there's the economy is struggling, the last thing you're thinking about is, I need to be domesticated and worry about the home and find a wife. That's the last thing, that if anything, that's going to slow you down. You need to be fleet of foot in those survival situations. And that's exactly why post World War I and first World War II, there were so many births, obviously mainly more World War II. In America, the baby boomers, it was because they were out of that scorched earth reality. So there was time to recover. So part of it's cyclical too.
Yes.
And part of it, there's a time for everything. But the problem that we've gotten in is that we've removed ourselves so much from the day-to-day struggles that all there really is for a lot of men to do in their mind is just to be a white knight. There's nothing to fight off, so I'm just going to white knight myself.
That's so deep. Yeah, that's it's like unless, and it's sad that it takes for a lot of these guys, it takes calamity taking place in order for them to have one drop of common sense in their brain.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. When push comes to shove, then reality finally strikes, and they come to their senses. It's like anything. It's like if somebody is, they've been having habits that are gonna cause them create a road of a heart attack, and they don't do anything. They're not thinking with their senses. They're not thinking clearly. There's no reason to change their habits until it's too late. And now there's calamity. And now I'm thinking with my right mind, and I'm doing what I can do to prevent a heart attack. The same thing goes with these situations. There's no red pill thinking and red pill thought until it's too late. And red pill needs to be more preventative medicine, if anything.
Facts. It's like, if there's any sign of love that a Black Knight would accept, it seems like that would be better after the fact. Right now, it's just about surviving. So it's like, speaking of those things we just mentioned, obviously I'm against the popular narrative of love makes you do crazy things. I don't believe that's the case, but I believe what one realizes is that you do those crazy things for someone that never loved you. And of course, the white knight does that all the time.
Yeah, he does crazy things for somebody who doesn't love him, because only somebody that doesn't love you would put you in a situation that would potentially kill you,
Facts.
Because then it becomes they're just testing you. Somebody that loves you doesn't test you.
Facts.
There's no reason to. They're trying to control you.
Facts. And it brings up another part of your video. I thought that was so cool that could be applied for what we're talking about right now, was during the time you was talking about the McCall and what she was doing, the whole love bombing. So you can imagine, even amongst that the scorched earth, there's going to be some love bombing. There's going to be a bunch of damsels trying to honor the Black Knight. Thank you for saving us. Thank you for helping us. Thank you for saving my family. What can I do for you? How can you stay around us? Don't leave us. We need you. And all along, the Black Knight is like, I'm just trying to do my job. I gotta get moving. That's I don't have time for all that other stuff. We'll see what happens in time. You're still around and you're still doing well. But right now, yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, it is that. And then the response to that is like, well, you don't have a heart. You're not. I'm offering myself to you, and you're just saying I'm focused on the job and I have to do my business. That to them is this foreign language, because they're used to, especially in the modern world, the average man's going to be a white knight. So the expected response is, you are not going to think logically like that, and there isn't going to be that. When things settle down, when things are all right, maybe I'll think about you, but now I'm not going to think about you. And what the damsel doesn't understand is him not thinking about you is actually probably going to benefit you and more people than if he thought about you.
Right. And it's like right now, it's not a time to be so emotional, because that's going to make you scared and freak out and shock. Right now we're using logic. Now that emotion right now. We gotta survive. I'm trying to help y'all get out this burning village. But
Yeah.
putting this in a modern context of how modern relationships aren't reciprocating, it's more of like a power struggle. So I think in essence, like with of course with the white knight, we already discussed he's only as good as the gynocracy allows him to be. But with the black knight, his issue is people trying to take away his goodness, his power. One is trying to take away his sword. One's trying their best to weaken his armor once they realize that he actually decided to help you get out those flames. You know, I think that's the other issue of the black knight.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Black Knight stays the Black Knight in the public's eye, is because it's what he's doing is job focused. You know, he's in the trenches doing what he would need to do in that situation to get himself and everybody else out of a calamity. And he's not public with it because he doesn't need to be. He doesn't need to have it be public. And he's also not very personal with one person or another person. And he is merely focusing on his task. So who's going to share his story? Who's going to say that this guy's a good guy? The only thing that's going to speak for him is the result. Is the result, was he successful? And if everybody comes out unscathed, maybe then somebody will recognize it, but not most of the time. You know, society is raised white knights.
Facts.
And it praises white knights, which again is why we live in a gynocracy.
Facts. And it's like they want the white knight to just be there for all of her traumas, all of her issues, and you know, and she's just going to use him up, you know, and maybe she might keep him looking good and things like that, but she's just going to discard him in the end. And it's like with the black knight, he's already aware of this. So it's like, you know, I'm only going to, if there's ever a dire need per se, and there has to really be like a dire need amongst someone that has trauma, and I'm only limited in what my assistance is. So it's like, you know, just taking the feelings out of it. So like, let's say if it's like a female you run into, she's having issues, you'll give her maybe some sound advice, but then you'll say, well, you take care of yourself. Whereas she thought you was going to get her number or something, ask her out on a date later. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Oh, man, it's so true. You see it all the time too, and it confuses them too, because you know why does it confuse them? Is because what they've been exposed to is the white knight. Is that I've got his attention and he has helped me and he's expended energy. He feels honored that he had the chance to help me, and so in their mind, it's he's here. He's got my number and he's trying to now reel me in or continually get my attention. And he's not just going to leave me to figure it out going forward. But that's the thing that the Black Knight does that's actually enviable and honorable about himself, is that he is truly trying to just offer help within reason.
That's it.
You know, and the sad thing is it gets criticized today.
Yes.
Help within reason is not enough in society's simplified world.
That is so true. And with that said, she doesn't like a black knight's honesty. Like his honesty can come in many ways, but in this case, just with him just being outright honesty, to them that's also like part of his vulnerability, because in essence it kind of goes back to how some of them do want guys that aren't so honest, you know. But it's like she prefers that white knight who is kind of tailor-made to her, and she wants that knight that is pristine and shiny, you know, the knight in shining armor, you know. So therefore, just getting back to how I told you I was going to describe the armor, the white knight has armor that is in mint condition, even out on the battlefield. Mint condition, no blood, no no signs of shards and shrapnels and sword slices, you know. But the Black Knight has more fortified armor, and you can see that it's war torn, but it's strong. It's like it's one of those. It's like looking at the skin of a dragon when you see the Black Knight's armor, you know. And it's like the Black Knight has known all along that it's not about going back to, in this case, you know, it's not about going back to the king, you know, versus what we say now, the plantation, you know. At the same time, it's about giving the feminine gender like the final frontier for still being around a man, even though, kind of like what you've even expressed before, it will never be, and I mean never be, like the way it used to be, you know. It's going to be based on more of that scorched earth campaign, like, you know, you're getting out of a rubble. Look at your life. Look at your past relationships. Look at everything about society. Look at your disposition. For you to even, and it's the opposite of where, like you said, the white knight, he should feel honored to be around her. It's the other way around for someone that has the mindset of a black knight. She should be honored to be around him, because he could easily be like a monk and just, hey, I'm away from all this. I don't have to be around none of this stuff if I don't have to be.
Yeah, it's going back to the earlier point about the armor. The funny thing and the ironic thing is that, you know, we see obviously the guys that are garnering the attention of the damsel. They're getting the women. He is, you know, finely manicured, trimmed. He's got every trimming that you would think he would need to get someone's attention. Nice car, nice look, nice haircut, nice watch, all those things. And the Black Knight that might actually offer something valuable does not look like that at all, and is not finely manicured. And the ironic thing is that she wants a white knight with armor, because with pristine armor. But the lie is that no real knight, a knight that's actually a knight, has armor that hasn't been untouched, that isn't marked up. That's the real lie that she's telling herself. The Black Knight has those scratches. It is mangled and might not have the best armor aesthetically, but has the most refined armor.
Facts. And let's talk about, like, in essence of like Mortal Kombat scenario, you know, and I'll kind of talk more about that towards the latter part of our live. Depending on how far we go, we might have to make a sequel. Who knows? Because this is like, man, this is nice.
It's good.
We got a few minutes left for this one, so you know, yeah.
This is good.
But what I want to say is the strength level of the Black Knight versus the White Knight. Of course, as we've mentioned before, we both agreed with the White Knight. His strength level and his condition of armor is only as good as what society has provided for him. So he might even be the type that, let's say his armor does get a few scratches. There's two ways. They can just discard them, or come back. We gonna help you out, John. Go back out there and we got another new uniform for you. You know, even though he hasn't proven nothing worth a squat of any type of manhood, but he can get away with it because he's protecting the gynocracy and he's willing to die. So they'll find a way to make him come back with new armor, or just maybe another clone if he has to get discarded.
And they'll never really teach him what is going to protect him ultimately, too. That's the other thing. He's never really taught how to actually apply real armor. He's just given replacement armor, Band-Aid armor, to keep him going out there and false reassurance that he's going to be all right.
Facts. It's like throwing him out to the wolves, basically.
Yeah, 100%. 100% is what it is. It's just like, go get torn up. Yep. You know, go get torn to shreds here. It's all right. I know you're going to need us still.
Yep. Facts. Now, the strength level of the Black Knight, I think, is infinite. He has pretty much almost infinite strength. He as long as he stays humble and confident within his humility, he has infinite strength. He has no fear overall. I mean, he has what I would call human fears per se, but overall he's durable. He's very durable. And, of course, with the White Knight, he's pretty much diminished upon society not supporting him, or if he comes to contact with a Black Knight and he's a little bit underpowered by the Ganocracy. He might, I guess, give the Black Knight somewhat of a fight, but I would say the Black Knight still comes out on top just due to his infinite strength from within.
Yeah, I mean, he's unmitigated. I mean, the Black Knight is pretty much not. He's not going to be influenced by something external. And in terms of a White Knight coming into contact with the Black Knight, that might be the only way to really have a White Knight become a Black Knight, is if there is another example of some man doing it differently than he is, And so that's really the only saving grace for a Black Knight. And in terms of MGTOW, I think that's really, other than continued, personal experience, the final thing to really get a man to turn away from being a White Knight is to see other men be Black Knights.
Because otherwise he doesn't have a chance. He doesn't stand a chance.
Right. He doesn't stand a chance, and he has no reason to be. He has no reason to be any different, because men look up to, other men, for how they're supposed to act. And society tells us that we don't, and that we shouldn't, and that we shouldn't have male mentors. And that's why there's more and more White Knights.
That's wow. That's deep too. The fact that there are actually more White Knights. Man.
It's a White Knight factory out there.
Facts.
Just the whole consumer industry, just consumerism too. I mean, just what we're supposed to spend money on is to make White Knights, to make worker bees.
Well, and I guess we can end on this note, and we definitely got to do a sequel to this.
For sure.
Given the title was called The Rise of the Black Knight, my question to you is, what could be the origins of the Black Knight?
Yeah, what's the reason for it? Or what's the reason, especially for men that have transitioned to being a Black Knight or don't want to be a White Knight? I'll definitely have to think about that. Because there's a lot of metaphors that can come out of it, for sure. Because I mean, there's enough videos just made about the White Knight.
Y'all better do y'all homework, y'all. Yes, indeed.
Sure.
Yeah, man. Well, we definitely gonna have to do a sequel to this, because I still got a lot of stuff we're gonna be talking about with this whole thing, because I think that's the times we're gonna be living in. And it's one thing to be a monk in the mountain, and that's cool, but to some extent you're gonna, I think there's gonna need a sense of solidarity. Not every guy is going to be a monk. Not every guy is going to achieve being a monk, because not everybody understands what a monk is, And so there needs to be that balance of, I think the Black Knight is the closest to monk, because he understands he just understands, that's why I've never been one to bash MGTOW at all. I've always supported it, but I've always just wanted to be around those who truly understand MGTOW at its purest core.
Yeah, I mean, there are multiple ways, and a lot of men within MGTOW resonate with certain ways more than others. And I think an adage is, in order to go about your life and to not be afraid, the only way to not be afraid is to get stronger. It's not to run away from it. The only way to actually deal with fear or to be braver is to get stronger, not to run away from it. And so that's kind of the argument for kind of the Black Knight mentality within society. And there's the Black Knight way of being. There's also the ghosting way of being. There's the MGTOW monk way. There's kind of all of those. And I think there can also be a lot of men that have a little bit of all of those things too.
Wow. And this guy, he just left a good comment here, and he just said, shout out to Forrest J. Burns. He said, the price of shiny is being easily spotted.
Yes, big time. Yeah, you're going to be seeing it's like driving on the highway with the bright red car. I mean, those are the ones that get pulled over the most according to stats, right?
Yep.
So,
that's it.
You know, you got to be discreet about it too, which is kind of the ghosting thing that it seems like you alluded to in a way.
But see, that's the catch-22 though, because if the gynocracy made those shiny suits, then it's easy to spot your creation, but it's harder to spot something that wasn't made that way. You know, they want to look for the black knights because they made so many shiny white knights.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what your suit, you know what your creation looks like, right?
Yeah.
You know what it is. You recognize it when it's around. If you're an engineer, civil engineer, and you're driving around town, you know what you built. You know, somebody else doesn't know it, and they didn't build the Black Knight on it, so they don't really know who they are.
Ooh, that's another part of the origins too. We definitely gonna have to talk about that when you do some brainstorming. They did not make the Black Knight armor. That's deep. That's deep.
Mm-hmm. You got it from somewhere else, right? Where did you get it? I'll have to ponder it.
Well, we definitely gonna. I'm gonna do my closing statements. Talk to the group. Talk to the audience right quick. And yeah, man, we definitely gonna chop it up. We'll set up schedule and everything, man.
Let's do it. Thanks again for inviting me. Good to talk to you. And yeah, we'll speak soon.
All right, man. Hoodie's out for you.
Hoodie's out.
All right, everybody. I'm still here. I ain't going nowhere. You know, just me and Sunrise Hoodie. We just chopped it up, had another epic live, and I hope this kind of gets people's minds flowing in a different way and in a different perspective, because that's what I'm all about here at this channel. You know, we're just trying to take our minds into a different direction. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times we be stagnant with our thoughts. Oh, hey, what's good, Doug, man? What's good, fam? Good to see you up in the building, man. Yeah. We just chopping it up though, because you know, we hear about this white knight all the time, and I'm like, you know, there's always an opposite for everything, man. Isaac Newton. Always think about that. What goes up must come down. What goes around comes back around. You know what I'm saying? So just keep all that in mind. I mean, if y'all got any questions about this whole Black Knight, feel free to let me know in the chat right quick before I do a closing statement out here. But whatever y'all thoughts, opinions, disagreements, if somebody has a disagreement, whatever, just chop it up with me right quick. I'll probably do my closing statement here in about, let me see, been on here for an hour. I'd say in about 5 more minutes. I'll go ahead and do my closing statements in about 5 minutes here. So yeah, anybody got any questions, anything like that? Did you like the live stream? Something inspirational, something informational? You know, I think really just to kind of go over a little bit of what I just talked about with Sunrise Hoodie. The main thing I can say, because I want to kind of stick with what we've been talking about, because I got so much more to share with y'all in our sequel. Okay, Doug, for sure, fam. I'll hit you on. So you know what a white knight is, right? So the Black Knight is the total opposite. But like what me and Sunrise Hoodie said, there's different levels to it. It's just not outright a polar opposite to the white knight, but it's definitely different levels to it, because we agreed that maybe at one time that Black Knight was once a white knight, you know, so that's one aspect to what is a Black Knight. But you got some guys who were never white knights at all. They were never simp. So that's the thing with a white knight, he was a simp. But the thing is, one that is a white knight is the ultimate simp, because just like the knights did back in the day, you got to be willing to die for your kingdom. And so the white knights are willing to die for the gynocracy. So everything you see as far as that Captain Save a Hoe behavior, so he willing to save a hoe and go to the grave for the hoe, if you will. That's the white knight mentality. But The Black Knight mentality is the opposite. You know, it's all about just doing his job. And if she complies to him being there for her while she was the damsel in distress and she's not trying to give him stress, maybe she might be blessed, but not in the way of validation or him trying to spoil her and things like that per se, just as more or less her feeling entitled. I mean, if she's doing right by his side, he's going to keep her by his side to a certain extent, if you will. It's just more or less the more she is doing her part as a helpmeet, as it is written, he got her. You know what I'm saying? Like, we just got to get back to the original roles of men and women. And I think, like, with the whole idea of the Black Knight, it's definitely getting back there uh, in that mindset, you know, with everything that relates to being a knight. That's like going back to the feudal ages. And society, as we speak, is actually starting to go back to some of those feudal ages to a certain extent. Uh, Doug said, similar to Black Pill. It can be. It can be, Doug. It can also be similar to Red Pill. Now, of course, with White Knight, that's definitely Blue Pill all across the board, no matter how a person try to slice that pie. But the Black Knight could actually end up Red Pill, or the Black Knight could be Black Pill. He could be Red Pill just because of the simple fact that amongst a burning down village, he sees those damsels in distress, and he's at least trying to offer some of them assistance if they don't show resistance. Now, a Black Pill version of a Black Knight says, you know what? Ah, man, I'm gonna put them out their misery. If they dare come to me, I'm swiping them with my sword. No, I'm here for my reason. I'm not here for none of you damsels. I don't care about none of you, you know. And maybe, who knows, in a far off distance and destination, he could maybe consider a female, but I think really that's far from a Black Knight's mind. I think a Black Knight that in regards to a Black Knight that could be Black Pill. I think a Black Knight that's Black Pill is far removed from that notion of any type of connection with damsels in distress. And I guess this could bring up a dark side to the Black Knight. And I'll have to say that for my next live stream. Maybe he just goes into that same burning village and, I don't know, takes advantage of those females. You see that happen in wartime all the time, you know, taking on the spoils of war. How many soldiers you've seen impregnate the women that are starving in the village? But you know, that's the Black Pill side of things. That's something else altogether. That's a good question, Doug. That's a real good question. Let's see what Forrest Burns has to say. Let me scroll up here. So a Black Knight is a White Knight seasoned by rough experience. That is one way that can occur, you know, because like I said, there are two different types of possible Black Knights. You do have the one based on what you're saying, the one that was seasoned by rough experience. But you also have the other Black Knight, which was like a pure Black Knight, which is probably like, I don't know, he's a prized possession. He's divine. But he hasn't went through a lot of these rough experiences per se. He's not seasoned, but he's seasoned more so based on him enduring the reality of his decision of being a Black Knight instead of him being a White Knight. Like in this society, you decided not to get married, right? You decided not to, based on what you've seen other people go through, right? You decided not to have the kids. You decided not to have a lot of these different relationships. You would consider one maybe, but she has to be willing to follow your lead and be your helpmeet in this time of survival. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, you might have had someone that, yeah, like based on what you're saying, he was once a White Knight. He went through the marriages. He had the kids. He had the relationships, but he learned some valuable lessons and he don't want to go down that road no more. So he decided to switch allegiances. He decided he wanted to be more like the Black Knight and learn. So, you know, he had to go through the apprenticeship. He wasn't holding the sword the right way. He didn't have on the right armor in the first place. So why do you think he was taken advantage of when he was a White Knight? Let me see this. What Brown Do Life said. Scroll back up here. The other Ray J. Do you think, in your view, that the traditional gender roles will come back? Will nature balance itself out? It will. It has to. But only a few can regenerate that restart. So before that balance will take place, a lot of imbalances will have to take place. There will only be a few that will come out of all this imbalance. I mean, you can pollute this world, but there's always still going to be um, one blade of grass that will find a way to grow, and that can restart the whole ecosystem. So just even with this whole gender experience, even in the midst of all of this war of the sexes, if those few people decide to come together to follow some of these principles I speak on and others speak on, there's still hope for humanity. You know, there's still hope. So we got to always know, definitely, as long as truths like mine are put out there and people are taking heed to this, maybe sharing this video, this live stream, share this with your children, because I will keep this public. As long as it remains public, there's hope, most definitely. The traditional roles will definitely come back, though, like, I believe that. But just only a few will be able to carry this out. It's not going to be the whole populace of society. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. But yeah, y'all, I'm gonna close out this live here, and still feel free to talk in the chat if need be while I'm doing my closeout statements. But a part 2 is on the way. Okay. But yeah, if y'all still got things y'all want to say, I'll stop in the midst of my closing statements to still answer y'all questions and in your opinions or whatever. I'm still gonna answer all that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, overall, hopefully this live made sense to some. Maybe this live did not make sense to others, but to the others that this live made sense to, feel free to hit that like button, especially those listening to this on the replay. If you have not subscribed to this channel yet, and you just happen to like my content, feel free to subscribe. And I totally apologize for this dog that's barking in the background. One moment, y'all. Ta-da. Ta-da. All right, I'm back, y'all. But yeah, make sure you subscribe if you like this type of content. More of this on the way. I don't just do live streams, I also do content. And by the way, for those who are listening to this on the replay, in the comment section below, you'll see a link to a video that I did exploring this conceptualized idea of a Black Knight. A video that I did last year, given the date of this video. So I'll put that in the comment section below. For those in the replay, listening to this on the replay, you'll see that. Okay. Yeah, please share this live stream. Please share this live stream. I'd appreciate that. And for those who do subscribe to this channel, make sure you hit that notification bell so that you get all of my uploads in real time, whether live streams or content. Basically all of my impromptu videos that I do. Let's see, got some more. Let me see. MGTOW in the wind. Use a dog whistle. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that next time. That's a good idea for sure. I appreciate that, Forrest Burns. I appreciate that, fam. Let me see what else you said. Doesn't the Black Knight concept come too close to the purple pill, like the merry men that claim to be red pill, but for some reason still live inside a system while holding such knowledge? Well, that is, those last few statements that you said was definitely purple pill. The thing about the Black Knight, though, is that he's not living in the gynocracy. He's actually out in the field. You got the purple pillars who, let's say if we went back to medieval days, right? They know that they need to get out that kingdom. That kingdom is destined for doom, right? But they choose to still stay in that kingdom and still just live amongst everybody, knowing that they know better, but they don't want to do better. The Black Knight just decided to take this thing a step further. He finally left his former kingdom, and he went amongst other kingdoms, and he's been amongst a lot of this society that's destroying itself. So he's not trying to go back to the plantation. He's not trying to go back to or even be part of this modern way of being married and having relationships and things like that. A lot of this is just going to be based on everything that's primal, not based on everything that's allegedly legal, meaning like, just going through the court papers and things like that. So, and obviously you got people that are in the MGTOW sector that don't want nothing to do with women in any regard, in any regard per se, as far as just interactions. I mean, like the ones that are purely monk. So I'd say if you got those who claim they're MGTOW, but you're still being around women per se, you're not quite MGTOW. You're more so probably similar to what a Black Knight is. And I'd encourage you, learn more about it, listening to these videos and live streams that I'm doing about it. But yeah, I feel you, Forrest Burns. That definitely is a question to think about, the whole purple pill side of stuff. Let's see what Brown Do Life said. Yeah, that's it. That's it, Brown Do Life. That's facts, fam. Yep. Far opposite of the purple pill. That's for sure. Most definitely. Let me see. But yeah, it's cool, man. The questions. It's good to have that question though, Brown D Burns. That's a very good question. You know what I'm saying? Let me see. But it looks like everybody else pretty much have wrapped up. Oh, hold up. Oh yeah, no problem, Forrest D Burns, man. Hopefully I'll see you back here up in the building again, man. Yeah, we definitely gonna be doing a part 2 for this live stream very, very, very soon. So but yeah, I said give this live stream a day from now to fully upload, and you can either check out my other video that I did about the White Knight and the Black Knight. It'll be in the comment section below in this particular live stream, or just go to my playlist called From Yours Truly 2019, and you'll see where I got a video titled, I think it's titled Red Pill. It's hashtag Red Pill White Knight versus Black Knight. But yeah, look that up in my playlist on this channel here. That's called From Yours Truly 2019, and you'll see that. Either way, I'm definitely gonna have this information for y'all. But other than that, just to kind of close out everything for now, no matter what it looks like out there, y'all, just know that it's only going to get better from here. And until next time, signing out.